the reason why I think it is dangerous today to give any Fulani leading politician power, because they don't have the power to control the Fulani militia. We saw it. Buhari couldn't control them. And like that young gentleman said, it is true. The Fulani elite you're talking about, how can he not criticize what the militias are doing? Because them, the elite, are the ones who come and govern the land.
Hello everyone, thanks for joining me in this video. Today is the 3rd of July 2025. I welcome you to a wonderful new month, wishing you all the best in your endeavors. Atiku Abubakar and others finally dumped PDP, adopt coalition to unseat Tinubu comes 2027. It is quite interesting as the political build-up towards 2027 begin to gain momentum across the regions and of course vested interests. It is quite interesting to note. It will not be entirely out of place to say the reason why Atiku Abubakar and others dumped PDP and adopt coalition to unseat Ahmed Bola Tinubu is as a result of their antecedents and activities of Nyesom Wike in the party, which is being seen as detrimental to the advancement and success of PDP. Unfortunately, deserting PDP at this particular time for some could be considered as the necessary end and a viable alternative, seeing that the presence of Nyesom Wike in PDP could constitute a nuisance or narrow the chances of PDP. In as much as we might want to blame Wike, we also will review the antecedents of the past. The role Atiku, Saraki, and the rest of them played in bringing PDP to where it is today. Because in 2015, why they defeated because of vested interests, they would have used the opportunity to consolidate the winnings and the political fortune of PDP by drawing support for Jonathan's second-term bid. But because they have vested interests, they want to run for the office of the president, and they are seeking for a platform that possibly could consider them after supporting Buhari presidential bid in 2015. They joined the coalition and destroyed the chances of PDP from clinching to power. We also saw what played out, despite the fact that the election was mildly rigged. But then Jonathan has to concede defeat because of some underlying factors, be it that even the United States President then, Obama, was interested in unseating Jonathan. And there was so much noise about the elections, and to the point that Jonathan observed that definitely his life is under threat with the external support being garnered against him. Then definitely he have to throw in the towel. Eventually, Buhari was sworn in as the president of Nigeria. Of course, history has all to tell us more. Now, down the line, Buhari completed his 8 years. If the likes of Atiku have stick to the party, supported the Jonathan, the election bid, definitely Atiku would have been the most preferred candidate to run after that 4 years. But eventually, he lost that opportunity to Buhari. And the second time Atiku had similar opportunity was in 2023, when he made the choice of a running mate who has no political relevance and importance to the party. He went for Ifeanyi Okowa, which unfortunately could not even deliver his own state, his own polling unit, let alone talking about the states. So he made another political disastrous decision that was not guided by intelligence, political intelligence. So these are two opportunities Atiku had to have emerged as the president of Nigeria, but due to he was ill-advised, or possibly because of his decision that was not guided by political intelligence, then he has to lose out. People were calling on him, and in one of the forums we're discussing, I said anybody who is closer to Atiku should have advised him to go with Wike, regardless of their rifts or differences, or they may not agree, but in terms of realizing his political ambition and dream, he should align even with his common enemies, provided they are in the same party, to project their interests, and eventually otherwise could happen possibly after the first tenure. But then that he made up his mind to go for Ifeanyi Okowa, who he believed will not constitute a headache for him, but then it has to cost him another chances. If we have gone with Wike, definitely what we are seeing today wouldn't have been in the first place, because there wouldn't have been any chances for Tinubu emerging as the president of Nigeria. But Tinubu has to cash in that lacuna that was created. He definitely, working with Wike gave him such edge, regardless of the fact that it is being speculated or alleged that Wike has to rig the Rivers State election in favor of Tinubu, which eventually gave him an edge. Whatever be the case, then we are going to review why the need for adopting coalitions. Is that the best they could at this time consider? Well, for me, it is the right step in the right direction, but one thing also matters. At this juncture, it is important to understand and to let Atiku know that whatever might be the level of his desperation to become the president of Nigeria, he definitely must compromise his position by allowing possibly the likes of Peter B, should Peter B join the coalition as well, and let a Southerner run for the first term or the first tenure of 4 years. Eventually, Atiku now could come back when it is a turn of the North. But if he pushes advances beyond what is acceptable, then he might be losing another second or third opportunity of becoming the president of Nigeria. It is not about desperation, it's about intelligent move and calculations. You need to, of course, throw in to catch something. You have to cast the net before you can draw the fish. But if you think you can't cast the net, you won't compromise certain positions just to get, of course, a better output or result in the long run. But if Atiku must insist, definitely the North will consider it as excessive desperation of an average Fulani political oligarch. They are desperate for power and would not want to compromise their positions. This definitely will cost the coalition party another chance of dislodging the incumbent president, Ahmed Bola Tinubu. If they decide otherwise, well, it is left for them. But then, if truly they want to unseat Ahmed Bola Tinubu comes 2027, then they must sit back, go back to the drawing board, which eventually has not been the case. An average politician is so desperate, does not consider and have a long-term project or envisage the possibility of working now to preserve tomorrow. So it is very important what we can see now. The actions of the coalition will definitely determine their chances of producing the next president. So if the coalition insists that the rotation will go to the North, definitely that is a loose battle, a loose project, is dead on arrival for them. That if they so desire, okay, let's, with the current political template, let a Southerner be projected as the presidential flag bearer for the coalition party. If their interest is to unseat Ahmed Bola Tinubu, definitely, if that is done, they will have a higher chances of winning the 2027 presidential election. But if that is to the contrary, then it is a dead on arrival. Tinubu will cash in and, of course, win the second term bid. So Tinubu also is not sleeping with his two eyes closed. So he is also desperate to ensure that nothing is left unturned. He didn't leave any chances, opportunity for him to emerge as the president comes 2027 election, presidential race. He had been making calculations and permutations on how possibly to gain more political advantage, mostly in the north, which he believed is important for him to garner more votes. For the information available to the public of most recent, we now learned that the resignation of the APC national chairman was not predicated on the fact, as being presumed earlier, that he was sick on the basis of his health conditions, but it's as a result of growing internal rift between the party, that there are controversies surrounding the position of the APC national chairman Ganduje, and then in order to save the party of being ruined by the crisis, internal rift, they have to sacrifice Ganduje and also Shettima. You see, there has been this silent war between Shettima and the president, to the point it's been alleged that the president said that Shettima was not part of this configuration or the government, and as such, he wouldn't want to use him as a running mate comes 2027, possibly citing that the political relevance of Shettima ended with the first tenure, and he is shopping for replacement in a way to have a more broader opportunity to bring in new freshers into the party who has proven political weight across the north, the likes of Kwankwaso, and being that Kwankwaso has almost an endless rival or rift with Ganduje. You know what played out? They were just enemies that will not meet each other of most recent. It's quite unfortunate, but then the Kwankwaso has given his conditions. If he should join the APC party, then definitely Ganduje must be sacrificed as the APC national chairman, and such positions would definitely be given to a different zone, being that Ganduje and Kwankwaso hail from the northwest. So possibly they will reassign the office of the APC national chairman to the northeast to balance the equation and eventually compensate for sacrificing Shettima as well. But then Shettima and his clique insisting that they could stop at nothing to ensure that he is being fed in the 2027 election. Otherwise, there will be peace in the APC. Whatever be the case, this definitely could also limit or narrow the chances of Tinubu in garnering more votes in the north. And that being said, we might consider the strength of the political weight of Kwankwaso, especially when it comes to Kano and Kaduna. In the last election, he eventually weighed a very strong force to reckon with. Yes, winning the Kano and Kaduna governorship election, though eventually with time the Kaduna has to defect, possibly for obvious reasons, maybe preparing a way for Kwankwaso to join the APC, which eventually has taken place. If I'm not mistaken, then Kwankwaso possibly has joined APC. Possibly this will be made public in no distant time, if I'm not mistaken, if that has not been disclosed. Whatever be the case, now the political stage is set. Both ends fighting to retain power or remain relevant in the political space. Now, for the opposition or the coalition force, they should do more than just mere victories. They have a lot of work to do, especially Atiku, the coalition members, to integrate other party members from PDP who still believe in that coalition. The like of San Egu the former governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Tambawa, and Imoke, I think the former governor of Rivers State, Cross River State, and the rest of them. These are people who have aligned with the coalitions to unseat Ahmed Bola Tinubu. Of course, El-Rufai is not left out, and other notable northern personalities, including Rotimi Amechi from the south. Definitely, they will build a synergy and a more robust frontier that will definitely register their presence in different regions of the country and state in particular. So they have to float their chapters across the states down to the local government, and as a matter of urgency, that should be done with the speed of light because there is no time. So for them to have come up with all Democratic Alliance, that is other as the party, well, we wish them well, but then it is all about political intelligence. As I rightly cited, that Atiku missed 2 opportunities that would have given him a better leverage to become the president of Nigeria, but he, out of his own decision, or unguided decision indeed, that is void of political intelligence. So what would have stopped possibly Atiku to have made Wike his running mate 2023? After all, he should be the president, and the description and duty of a vice president is limited. So that was a golden chance for him, but definitely was lost out. But whatever be the case, let's watch as things unfold. But with the political templates and of course antecedents, it is very clear that both parties are not at rest. There are internal rifts, crises that will also play a vital role in either at the disadvantage or in advantage of each party, but it depends how it is being managed. Definitely, APC has its own crisis to fix. We don't just have to dismiss the possibility, because if Shetima will be eventually dumped, then it means it's an invitation of anarchy and more political unrest, internal crisis or rift between, because Shetima has his own followers and loyalists, which might not accept such in good faith. But then they might possibly align with the opposition or the coalition to make sure that Tinubu do not return by any means possible. So it's another indication that Tinubu must not ignore. So these are another factors Tinubu must not ignore. Though the primates Ayodele have said that Tinubu should not contemplate in dumping at Shetima because it will come with its consequences. You have to pay a costly price if he does that. Well, these are mere political opinions and expressions which might not be far from the truth, because with the current template, rather than building on what is on ground and eventually seeing how he could work other interest group to support his re-election bid, if he decides to stir the tides within the party, definitely he will be affected by the most serious nature of the storms they have directly or indirectly ignited or initiated. Whatever be the case, people are indeed in their desperation of clinching to power across the north down to the south. So everybody is seeking relevance, but whatever be the case, there have been insinuations that some persons believe that no Fulani again will rule Nigeria. Definitely that possibly might count against Atiku should he project himself or declare his interest to run as the president, not giving a Sultana such opportunity. It might also ruin his chances again. Let's listen to this video and we'll come back.
This is the reason why I think it is dangerous today to give any Fulani leading politician power, because they don't have the power to control the Fulani militia. We saw it. Buhari couldn't control them. And like that young gentleman said, it is true. The Fulani elite you're talking about, how can he not criticize what the militias are doing? Because them, the elite, are the ones who come and govern the land.
Now, let's have your own take regarding this development. It is an interesting moment to watch as 2027 presidential interests continue to build up across the regions. But one thing is important, the people, if opinions have been sampled, they are no longer comfortable or happy with the Tinubu administration. Otherwise, except otherwise, then Tinubu does anything magic within the period of course, less than 2 years as he has to occupy the Oval Office. But some has said, no matter what happens, Tinubu will not be voted in and might not gain the people's support. But Tinubu insisting that definitely there is no vacancy in Aso Rock, possibly counting on Wike and every other person who might want to strategize on how he might possibly be returned. Or whatever be the case, Atiku have insisted that it is no longer business as usual. Whatever he meant by that, well, will be revealed as a matter of time, and we'll get to know how serious and committed the coalition is. It is not just dumping a PDP for the coalition, to adopt the coalition. It is the tax, the enormous tax and work you needed to put in to convince the people that definitely you are ready for that change and you are ready to unseat Ahmed Bola Tinubu. But if there is no sign of seriousness or commitment on the part of the coalition leaders, then it might ruin the chances of the coalition. At the end of the day, it will be a dead on arrival initiation or undertaking, and whatever be the case. Let's have your own take regarding this development. Thanks for watching.